Okay, let's look at game 4 in our beginner section. This is a quick, short game, and the reason why it's so short is because many beginners make this very mistake. If you have not learned to play with principles, ideas, and concepts, then you are bound to make basic mistakes in the opening that lead to opening traps. Let's look at this one. E4, E5, that's basic. The knight attacks the pawn. The acceptable move in this position is knight to C6. You also go pawn to D6, even though it does blocking your bishop. It's a very conservative move. Pawn to F6 in most, if not all cases, is a crucial mistake which allows a sacrifice of a knight. Now if the person is at a point in their chess development where they think pawn to F6 is an acceptable move, then there's a very good chance they're going to think taking that knight is also acceptable. In the case of this particular game, the knight was captured. Now if you're looking at these lessons, then you're probably a beginner, but some beginners are stronger than others. See if you can see the tactical idea that causes the loss of this rook. Okay, well, I know that was quick, but if you know it, you know it. If you don't, then you'll soon learn. Queen to H5 places check on the king. Now if the king should step up, queen will take pawn check, king possibly will step over, and it'll be a tremendous attack against the king, and you'll have two pawns for your piece. But for most beginners who aren't looking deeply into the position, they'll move pawn to G6, and the same thing will pretty much happen. The pawn will be captured, check. In this particular game, they blocked with the bishop. If you block with the queen, you still lose your rook, but at least you'll get a counter attack, even though it might be only short-lived. But it's far better to at least try to get some counter play. The move in the game was bishop E7. This is a pin on the bishop. It's an absolute pin, but that doesn't concern white right now because you can capture the rook. So now you have a rook and two pawns for a knight. That is a significant advantage. In this position, black plays D6, not even recognizing that his knight is under attack immediately. But pawn D6, which loses a knight. So now black has a rook and two pawns. I'm sorry, white has a rook and two pawns for free. They'd actually exchange knights, and black is in check. Black blocks a check, and now the king's in the center of the board. He's exposed, so white is going to attempt to make as many attacks against the king as reasonably possible. Now when you're going for attacks against your opponent's king, you still have to consider good developing moves. You don't want to make bad moves hoping that your opponent will see a potential threat. In this case, white has the threat of queen to F7, which would be checkmate. Black goes D7 with the bishop. That in no way defends the mate, and therefore white mates the black king in 9 moves. Okay, so look at that closely. Remember, if black have just applied basic opening principles, which is develop your pieces towards the center, get your king into a safe position, and then engage your opponent, the game would not have ended so quickly. Okay, game 4 for beginners.